Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. I want to thank you guys for joining me once more. This will be something that will scare some people, and other people will just view this in a more open-minded point of view and not be afraid of it. And I'm not recommending that you guys learn this ritual. I just wanted to share this with you, and anything could be modified as well to any individual. But I just wanted to share something that is a ritual that truly works. And what this does, this is called the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. It really does work to drive out lower astral entities from an area. So many people have energies attached to them. These beings, these things, sometimes they're just like astral ticks and leeches, just attaching to us and feeding off of our energy. Sometimes they're discarnate human, what was human, spirits, leftover energy, really residual energy from somebody that perhaps died suddenly or died in a bad way and has learned to basically, again, be basically a psychic vampire and feed off the life force of the living. Or also, this is used just to simply make a place, a space, like quote-unquote holy, cleaner. And so this comes out of the Golden Dawn. The Golden Dawn is a very interesting group. It was an occult group and a mystery school tradition, and it had some really interesting characters in it, including some that you may know, including Aleister Crowley and S.L. McGregor Mathers, William Wynne Westcott, and William Butler Yeats, also Israel Regardie. The Golden Dawn really started so many other groups to get going down this tradition. So this is their number one foundational ritual that they do. And all rituals are all about basically connecting to higher powers, connecting to source, and basically affecting change in both the psyche of the individual and also in the environment. So have you seen Da Vinci's The Vitruvian Man? So what was he trying to say with this? Because we could actually see that this is basically a pentagram. And the pentagrams, it basically symbolizes the microcosm, where the hexagram, like the Star of David, is representative of the macrocosm. It also represents the four elements and spirit at the top. So when it's inverted, it's actually representing basically the material world over the spiritual world. And this is the hexagram. And here you see the hexagram of Solomon. And so much of this is supposed to trace back to those mystery schools. King Solomon, who supposedly had demons working for him, building the temple. And he was the master magician, supposedly, as well. And perhaps he really came out of the Egyptian mystery schools. So we see the pentagram can be made as both a banishing and or invoking, depending on where you start and what direction you go. So for this ritual, you're going to be using a banishing earth pentagram. So we start at the lower left and go on up. This is also going to call in the energies of the four archangels, Raphael, and we'll go over here, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. And again, these are the four main archangels, and you could see that their names actually mean certain things. Like Michael is he who is like God, Gabriel is God is my strength, Raphael is the healer of God, and Uriel is God is my light. Now they also basically symbolize the directions, and they also symbolize the elements. So Michael is basically fire in the south, Gabriel is water in the west, Raphael is air in the east, and Uriel is earth in the north. And this ritual also uses the names of God in Hebrew. As you see here, the symbol which symbolizes Yod He Vav He, which is the tetragrammaton. It uses the word Adonai, which basically just translates as Lord. And it also uses the term Eheya, which is what Moses heard God say to him at the burning bush. And so it's usually translated as I am, or I will be, or I am that I am. And then it uses this term, Uggla, and that's a notaricon, which basically symbolizes Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai. So the Lord is mighty forever. So it was considered a name of God by magicians in the Middle Ages and appeared in magical formulas for everything from protection to flying. By Renaissance times, the formula was a common inscription for amulets and talismans. Uggla is used in its shortened form in a number of apotropaic circle-making formulas, and the Golden Dawn used it as the god name of the North Quarter in the LBRP, which is the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. So when you're drawing the pentagrams, you visualize them as like a silvery blue flaming light. And so this is the life force that we're actually emitting. So what you're doing is you're putting chi out there. Chi, ki, prana, vril. You're actually putting it out there. So even that if you cannot see it with your visual eyes, it is really there. And the beings that are on the astral plane will see it, and they will recognize it, and with the power of the archangels, they'll leave the area. So you start at your left hip, you go above your head, continue to the right hip, move to the outside of the left shoulder, over to the right, and come back down, finishing exactly where you start. And then you visualize as you step forward and send it flying off into the ether. You visualize it just going away from you, clearing out anything in front of it. So here is a PDF on the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. So you start by standing in the middle of a room facing the east. Imagine that you are a towering figure and the earth is a tiny sphere below you. Feel yourself to be the very center of the universe. Then look up into space and imagine a sphere of white brilliance. See this light descend to the top of your head. Reach up with your right hand, or a dagger if you want to be more dramatic, and pull this white light down to the forehead. When you do this, vibrate the word Ata. Move your hand down your body. Feel the light being drawn down through you in a beam. Touch your breast and move your hand over to the groin area, pointing down. Vibrate Malkuth. And imagine there is now a shaft of light running through you, connecting the light source above the forehead to the earth. The fascinating part is that this is coming out of the Judeo-Christian tradition, and there's very, very similar QiGong and Taoist rituals as well. And in fact, I am convinced now that this is something that probably goes back to Atlantis and Lemuria. It's just, again, we're using different words depending on your tradition. So again, you can modify this if you don't want to do it Judeo-Christian. And I've done that a ton in different QiGong classes, and basically eliminating all the Judeo-Christian terms, but still doing the visualizations, and it still works very, very well. So then you touch your right shoulder. Imagine a beam from the shaft of light at the center of your body, meets the tip of your finger or dagger, moves out from your right side into space. Vibrate Vegebora. Touch your left shoulder. Imagine this horizontal beam of light extends to the left and passes out through the left shoulder into space. Vibrate Vegedula. Then bring both of your hands up to your breast and clasp them together as if praying. Vibrate Leolam Amen. You are now standing in the center of a cross of light that reaches to the ends of the universe. The Hebrew words of power for this part of the ritual known as the kabbalistic cross. That's the kabbalistic cross that we just did there. They simply translate to, "For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever unto the ages." So it's out of the Lord's Prayer. Move to the east of your area and trace a large banishing pentagram in the air before you. Visualize it glowing in flaming blue light. Bring your hands up to the sides of your head and point both pointer fingers forward. If using a dagger, make sure it's pointing in the same direction as your pointing fingers. Take a deep breath and thrust both arms forward as you advance with your left foot, known as the sign of the Emperor. At the same time, exhale to vibrate Yod-He Voah-He. And then feel the energy of the divine name running through your fingers and into the pentagram. When this is done, move your left foot back to stand straight again. Put your left index finger to your lips as if you were telling someone to be silent. Shh, shh. And that's known as the sign of silence, while you keep your right arm extended. And we were talking about this and the little sign that so many of the leaders give each other. So still touching the center of the pentagram with the finger or dagger and keeping your arm extended, move to the south of the circle. Imagine that the tip of your finger or dagger is creating a white line in the air. When you reach the south, you will have created a 90 degrees of a circle of white light, which will connect the pentagram in the east, the one you're about to draw here. Trace the pentagram as before, and once again thrust forward into it with the sign of the Emperor, this time vibrating Adonai. And when you finish, perform the sign of silence, remembering to keep your right arm out before you. Carry the line of white light to the west, and repeat the steps of tracing and charging the pentagram there. This time vibrate a Heye. Then carry the line of white light to the north, and trace and charge a pentagram there. This time vibrate Uggla. And that stands for Ata Gibora Leolam Adonai, but you could just do Uggla. Now carry the white line to the east, completing the circle. There should now be 4 flaming blue pentagrams blazing at the four quarters of your circle of white. Walk back to the center of your circle and turn clockwise to face the east. Now once again visualize the giant kabbalistic cross within you. So the cross is within you, it's shining. Extend your arms, forming this cross with your body. Look towards the east and say, "Before me, Raphael." Remember to vibrate the name of the angel. Now visualize with your eyes open that this archangel of air is standing before you. See him as a towering figure dressed in yellow and violet robes, the colors of air. Try to feel the breeze of elemental air in your face. Imagine another presence behind you and say, "Behind me, Gabriel." Again, remember to vibrate the name of this angel. Now visualize with the eyes closed that this archangel of water is standing behind you. See him as a towering figure dressed in blue and orange robes, the color of water. Try to feel the moisture of the elemental water on your back. Open your eyes and look over your right shoulder while saying, "On my right, Michael." After vibrating the name, visualize this archangel of fire in robes of red and green, the colors of fire. Try to feel the heat of the elemental fire. And then look over your left shoulder and say, "On my left, Oriel." After vibrating the name, visualize the archangel of earth in robes of citrine, olive, russet, and black, the colors of the earth. Try to feel the sense of solidity given off by this quarter. Look towards the east again and contemplate the pentagrams around you, saying, "For around me shines the pentagram." Then visualize a brilliant hexagram within your breast. And say, "And within me shines the 6-rayed star." To finish the rite, repeat the Kabbalistic cross again. That's steps 1 through 6. And the ritual should be memorized as soon as possible, should be practiced every day, since the divine names of God, which correspond with each elemental quarter, are used to charge the pentagrams, and the archangels of each quarter are called to watch over your area. The circle created in this ritual forms an impenetrable barrier to unwanted magical forces. If the ritual is performed correctly, you can safely proceed with your magical work. However, another ritual exists that should be performed along with the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram to ensure a complete banishing of unwanted influences. When you feel comfortable doing the LBRP, you can start performing the following ritual immediately after it each day. And so the next ritual is the lesser banishing ritual of the hexagram, and that banishes unwanted planetary influences as well. And so this is another alternative, the new banishing ritual of the pentagram that somebody came up with. And I just wanted to include it because you can modify things. And so we don't even have to do it Judeo-Christian. If you want to, and that's your tradition, then wonderful. You could, if you were Hindu, you could switch and you could bring in Shiva and Vishnu and Durga and Kali. You could do it with whatever you wanted to, and change the ritual. And I've done that before. I've changed it. I've gone without saying any of the verbiage, really, but just mentally knowing that the room is clear, and it's worked. And so this is really what it's based on. Also, it's the tree of life. It's Cabala, and so Malkuth is where we are. That's this realm, and of course we go all the way up to Source, and that's basically what we're symbolizing here as well. It's the microcosm and the macrocosm. So the individual microcosm is a reflection of the state and of the universe itself. So what you are doing is you are calling on, the power of God that lies within you, and through that, controlling the elements and clearing a space. Again, it's all about as above, so below. And it's all about intent and focus and knowing that you have that power within you. And I've shared with you guys before that when I was, in my late teens, early 20s, I was basically in a born again phase. And I was plagued with sleep paralysis and other things, as well as some entities. And so I have called on the name of Christ, for instance, and been able to get these things to go away. And I've also done it without calling on the name of Christ, just drawing on the light from Source that is within me, but connecting to the Source. And it's worked just as well. Actually, it works even better now than it did back then. But that's because my belief system is stronger. And I've also done my rituals, my meditations, my mantras to such a much higher degree now. That everything is just more effective. As with anything, it's all practice. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you guys are feeling like you're being psychically attacked, if you feel like there's any dark energies, this really does work. They leave. And I've cleared so many spaces through just using this ritual. As I was part of a paranormal group in the past, and for several years was using this regularly to clear people's houses, businesses, and even public places of dark, unwanted energies. So, as always, my friends, thank you for your support. Come and join us on Patreon. Even $1 a month helps support the channel, and there's some videos that go up there all the time that will not be on YouTube as well. And I want to encourage you both to subscribe to both channels, EEARTS and Evolutionary Energy Arts. Make sure you click the bell so you get all the notifications. I look forward to your comments and your thoughts. As always, my friends, God bless and namaste.